Today on the Topping Show, Target shuts down after bomb threats, New York passes a minimum wage law for delivery workers, Biden orders PR team to ignore Trump's indictment, Call of Duty boycott grows, Fanatics on track for an IPO, while Instabrand files for bankruptcy, Grubhub to cut 15% of their workforce, Overstock submits a bid for Bed Bath Beyond IP, and AWS has an outage which brings companies to their knees. All that and much, much more on the Topping Show. Thank you for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner and you need a little assistance, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Now, going into the culture part of the podcast, you have Target shutting down locations due to bomb threats. Now, this is coming after a few days where there was an ultimatum, and again, there's a lot of things where you have to say this is allegedly happening. Well, it happened. I guess you should say it's allegedly by some groups, but you had a combination of 200 LGBT groups sending an ultimatum to Target saying, we need you to put, so big controversy, Target had LGBT as well as pride-themed apparel and devices targeting children, which, of course, for 10 plus years, they've had adult clothing on LGBT accessories and apparel. This is the first year they transitioned, pun moderately intended, to child wear and satanic materials. I don't mean satanic just rhetorically. I mean, they actually had pins that literally had Satan on it, saying Satan respects pronouns. The UK-based designer is a self-proclaimed Satanist, actually has pictures of him, I forgot the pronouns, but with horns, very literally satanic materials. And there's also the controversy with the tuck swimsuit, with the swimsuit. I won't even go into it, you probably already know what it is, but that's why the Target boycott is different this year versus past years. No one really cared what they were selling. Now, they responded to the criticism originally by moving the apparel and the accessories to the back of the store and removing a couple of the items as well. Now, doing that, kind of like the Bud Light thing, kind of just pissed off everyone. People on the far left were very irate that they're moving the product because it's no longer in your face at the front of the store. And then people on the right are concerned because you still have most of the same materials there, as well as the child apparel and all that stuff. So another great example of really not taking a hard stance and really just really annoying and disappointing and confusing all audience members and consumers and prospective consumers. Now, because of the movement of the stuff to the back of the store, those 200 groups, and again, these emails aren't from a specific group, but the group had members, so there's a lot of speculation, but they said, you need to do this you need to put that to the front of the store and give us more affirmation within 24 hours or else. They didn't expand on that point, probably for legal purposes. Now, the company thus far has also lost $16 billion in stock market valuation since this snafu. And it's already having an impact on the foot traffic. So they have 13.9% less foot traffic in the stores since this PR nightmare. And one of the most important things about retail and brick and mortar is foot traffic. That's the hardest part of owning a brick and mortar, owning a business, is getting people in the door. They literally spend millions of marketing dollars trying to convey those messages on the TV, the YouTube, to get them to come there, because you're going to spend more in the store versus online. There are multiple studies also about spending more when you're using credit card versus cash, and there's a whole science about how you move around the store and you spend more depending if you're going counterclockwise versus clockwise. It's a magnificent, fascinating art and science of retail. And have a big decrease in foot traffic, that's even worse. That's going to get even worse now that there's these threats. Now, there have been Targets in 5 states where they've had these bomb threats, and they've actually evacuated the stores, even more concerning from a consumer retail experience as well as a PR and safety. Now, thankfully, no one was hurt. There was actually no explosive discovered. They coordinated with the police, and most of these instances of threats are coming from individual emails. Now, will the FBI actually do their job and track them down and prosecute them? No, probably not. I'm highly skeptical, since, unfortunately, it seems like the law is only applied one way these days. A good forensic scientist should be able to figure that out, but I digress. Now, one of the emails was quite specific. They noted and actually it's kind of cliche. So I'm not, again, they are also bad at marketing as well. Now, this email said, quote, "We're going to play a game," unquote, which cliche horror movie doesn't really. If anything, I would have laughed if I was a store manager and been like, "This person's too cliche. They're not even original with their threats." Nevertheless, they also expanded on that email. They said, so they said, "We're going to play a game," and they ended the game with the date August 19th, 1995, which was the day of the Oklahoma City bombing. This threat email to the store was located in Oklahoma City. And this email also claimed that 2 of the 7 Target stores were going to be bombed. So they referenced a terrorism attack and they targeted stores in that area. Now, again, thankfully, no threats were found, or no actual bombs were found, but still quite concerning if you're a store manager. And also, this is going to have a huge ripple effect. If you just think about one store, let's say conservatively, there's about 300 employees and consumers in that store at any given moment. If you evacuate that store, that's 300 people leaving the store who are scared, concerned, or maybe they're employees that they know it's mostly bullocks, so they're just happy to get a couple extra hours off of doing nothing. It's not good because that's 300 people. Let's say they have 3 people in their family and they got 5 friends, and this is a negative experience. So they're going to tell 7 to 12 people. It's quite pessimistic, or kind of a little dampening on my faith in humanity when you look at multiple research studies on people when they have an interaction with a business or a product. If they have a good experience, like an exceptionally great experience, on average, they'll tell 1 person. If they have a bad experience, they're going to tell between 7 and 12 people about that bad experience. And that number varies on which studies you're looking at. Of course, there's variations with age, demographics, and geography. But that gives you a good idea of the big discrepancy between a good experience and the overwhelmingly concern of a bad experience being exponentially worse for their PR. So you have 300 people per store on average just leaving, telling all their friends, posting on social media, and I don't want to speculate too much about the average consumer who goes to Target, but I'd venture to, they may not be the people who take steps to protect themselves outside the home. Let's just put it that way. And they're more reliant on others for security and safety. And in that case, they're going to be even more concerned because they're helpless. They're sheep going out into the stores. They quite literally are dependent on everyone else except themselves. So if you have no way to protect yourself in that case as well, it's especially concerning. And this is just fueling the people moving to Walmart. All the analysts, including the recent stock downgrade by Citibank, they all noted it's not just consumers are spending less, they're losing to Walmart. These customers are going to the competition. And again, I have to say it for the 1000th time, Target is a luxury, not a necessity. It's overpriced. You're paying a premium for, and I give them credit, the stores are beautifully architecturally designed. The aesthetics are very nice. The lighting is good. It's a premium experience for clothing, knickknacks, and a lot of crap you don't need. And again, if you want staples in terms of things you need, like beef jerky is a good snack, vegetables, fruits, the staples, Walmart's a lot better because it's a competitive price and they have more groceries. Everyone needs groceries that eats, except robots maybe, but most people need to eat. Now, Walmart has that, and they also have a really good selection of the other things that you need on a less frequent basis, like electronics, clothing, what have you. And it's a very compelling reason to just go there. There's less friction. You don't have to worry about kids asking additional questions that are not appropriate for their given age group. So more and more people, especially parents, I think, are transitioning to the other stores, pun moderately intended. How will Target try to pull up from this nosedive? I'm not too sure. No, actually, I don't know, because they've taken a hard line. They actually endorse breast binders, which cause permanent damage to adolescents' mammary glands. And there's a lot of negative long-term health concerns about those devices. And again, they're sized for children, and Target sold those, and they're still selling those. So it seems like they've made their decision. They need to, in this case, given their past and present political affiliations and their statements, they should probably reach out to those 200 groups as soon as possible if they want to regain those customers. And time shall tell to see if that's a long-term positive business decision. We'll see. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Cannot thank you enough for taking the time to like, subscribe, and comment. It also helps if you share the videos with your friends. I've noticed that the more comments a video has, the more views. So it's always a little bit of a mystery of guessing what the YouTube algorithms and the mystery boxes are actually doing to promulgate and advertise certain videos. So I greatly appreciate you taking the time to do that. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone to stay safe and fight the good fight.